By now, you've probably seen two Jack Eichel videos that I wanted to talk about here today. First off, it's the Hockey Guys video talking about how Jack Eichel is pretty much not going to get traded. I agree with that. There's no way this guy's going to get traded, but for the sake of talking about what people are talking about, we are making this video here today. Now, you also may have seen Mike Top Shelf Hockey's video about 10 Jack Eichel trade rumors, and if you watched that video, then you know exactly what we're referencing here today. This is an article over here published onto WGR550radio.com. WGR550 is sports radio in Buffalo. This article is written by Joe DiBiase talking about, oh boy, it's 11 hypothetical trade offers for Jack Eichel. The article's title is, "So You Want to Trade for Jack Eichel? Good luck with that." There are 11 offers that the writer proposes would be suitable for the Buffalo Sabres for Jack Eichel, but we're going to go over a few of them in this video here. The reason we're doing this in several videos instead of one is because I want to talk about some of these proposals for more than just 1 minute. If you divide 11 into 10 minutes, you get less than a minute per trade proposal. I don't want to do that. I want to talk about this stuff in depth. Just for clarification's sake, here are the 11 trade proposals that DiBiase believes are fair asking prices for Jack Eichel. From the Calgary Flames, you have Monahan, Tkachuk, and a first. The Avs, it's McKinnon and Jost. The Hurricanes, Aho, Svechnikov. The Stars, Sagan, Heiskanen. The Oilers, McDavid. The Panthers, Barkov, Knight, and a first. The Devils, Hughes, Hischier, 2 firsts. From the Rangers, it's Zibanejad, Kakko, and 2 firsts. The Leafs, it's Matthews and Sandin. The Canucks, it's Petey and Besser. And the Jets, it's Scheifele and Ehlers. Today, we're focusing on 2 of them. Let's talk today about the Oilers and the New Jersey Devils. Now, the article's immediate way of depicting an Edmonton Oilers trade for Jack Eichel is to propose Connor McDavid. The little write-up says, no, the Oilers are absolutely not going to do this. And yeah, you know, he's right. The thing is, though, I don't know if I can look at Jack Eichel and look at an Edmonton Oilers trade and say that the only thing that the Oilers have that the Buffalo Sabres would say yes to would be Connor McDavid. That's the whole point about this article here written on this sports radio website, is that the writer is exploring trade offers that other teams could make that the Sabres would feel are worth it. And Connor McDavid for Jack Eichel is just one that is so lopsided. I know Eichel is good. He's really good. He was top 10 in scoring, and he probably will be top 10 in scoring for the next decade and a half. It's just, Connor McDavid is the only thing you could have come up with? Nothing with Leon Draisaitl? Even on a Leon Draisaitl point of view, you could debate that the Sabres wouldn't even be able to get Draisaitl in a 1-for-1 trade with the Edmonton Oilers. If anything, you have to take a look at where the Edmonton Oilers have other young stars and other legitimately good players locked up in. You got Nugent Hopkins, who's a 60-point guy in the NHL. You have Yamamoto, who was a point-per-game-ish player in his immediate debut with the team earlier this season, and an elite offensive potential threat. He's a guy who looks to be so good in the next few years. You have Philip Broberg and Evan Bouchard on the blue lines. We talked about Bouchard already in the past, saying that he's improved off of all the things that I gave him flack for before he was drafted 2 years ago. Not to mention Ethan Bear, who has finally graduated into an actual NHL defenseman after being taken in the 5th round a few years ago. I know when you think about a Jack Eichel trade, you need the idea of a star, at least any form of a star coming back. And I understand why you would think about Connor McDavid in this way, but I think it's somewhat of lazy writing to consider Connor McDavid as the only package the Oilers could put together that the Sabres would say yes to. Because yes, the Sabres would say yes to McDavid if they said, okay, here's McDavid, give us Eichel. They probably would also say yes for Draisaitl, but again, the Oilers wouldn't do that. However, think about it like this. What if it's Nugent Hopkins, a first, and Evan Bouchard? The Sabres' chances of saying no are raised up tremendously, but in my opinion, you can't say it's an absolute no with no room to think about it. At the very least, you're getting a top 6 forward, you're getting a potential top D-man prospect, and you're taking a first-round pick that could potentially be first overall if the Edmonton Oilers lose against the Blackhawks. Eichel's a star, and that is true, but The fact that you have to think about it makes a proposal like this a little bit more justifiable, in my opinion, when trying to write an article about discussion. Many of the trade proposals in this article just look like what the writer believes could be a big fleecing for the Buffalo Sabres in a team's overpayment for Jack Eichel. It comes across in the second trade proposal we're looking at today, the New Jersey Devils, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, and 2 first-round picks for Jack Eichel. No, that is too much for Jack Eichel. I know the point of this exercise is to take a look at offers that the Sabres would say yes to, but I have a feeling you could probably have come up with something a little bit more realistic on the New Jersey side of things. What you have here in a vacuum is 2 first overall picks, an 8th overall pick from this year, and another first round pick for next year for what was a 2nd overall pick in 2015. I know that's in a vacuum, that's a straw man, that is not an accurate depiction of this entire package, but Jack Hughes has the potential to legitimately become a star in this league. Nico Hischier, like Nugent Hopkins, has developed into a very strong two-way capable player and somebody who could help out your team at both ends of the ice. He doesn't have the production of a Nugent Hopkins just yet, but Hischier is 21 years old. Add to that 2 first-round picks, and all of a sudden, this trade proposal has gotten so out of hand because the overall value that 2 firsts, Hischier, and Jack Hughes brings supersedes the value of a Jack Eichel, in my opinion. Especially since Eichel, even though he is really skilled, he does have that cap hit, and he does have that long contract. If you make a trade for Eichel and you're the Devils, is he the best player in your team? Probably, yeah. But the package that you're giving up, especially looking into the long term, it's quite a lot, and it's too much in my opinion. If the Devils wanted to get something that they actually felt would be value, and that the Sabres could probably entertain the idea of a little bit more, then I'm thinking more, what about Nico Hischier, Nikita Gusev, that 8th overall pick, and maybe even a 2nd as well. Something like that seems a lot more realistic on the New Jersey side, while also not being a definitive no on the Buffalo Sabres side. That's my own proposal, and somewhat of a more accurate gauge, in my opinion, as to what a team like New Jersey would value a Jack Eichel as. You're giving up probably 2 of your best forward players in Hischier and Gusev, and you're using future picks to balance out the inequalities because Eichel, as a very, very good potential 100-point player in the future, could be argued to have more value than Hischier and Gusev combined. Obviously, it's just an argument. You could say that I'm wrong, and absolutely that's okay. But in my opinion, if I was trying to make up a trade offer, this is what I would say. Not Hughes, Hischier, and 2 firsts. That's crazy. And because this is the first video where we go over some of these trade offers, because I do want to make other videos talking about all the other offers that are on this list, it is quite apparent that this list was only made for discussion purposes and for the idea of enticing one's mind, getting the inner GM mode cogs in your brain starting to turn a little bit to try to provoke your thoughts into what an Eichel trade offer could look like. Obviously, these ones just seem quite unequal and biased, but at the same time, there is an opportunity for us as fans, as viewers, as media, to take a look at this and try to fill in the blanks with what we believe would be more appropriate instead, which is why I'm making these kinds of videos in general. So, if you have a trade proposal in the comments for Edmonton and New Jersey as to what it would take to pry away a Jack Eichel, let's hear it in the comments down there below. There's no doubt in my mind that if the Oilers really wanted Eichel and they wanted to get rid of McDavid, they would do it and the Sabres would say yes. There's no doubt in my mind that Hughes, Hischier, 2 firsts would get Jack Eichel. It's just the Devils would not do that. So, in your opinion, if I asked for a trade that the Devils and the Oilers would do, that the Buffalo Sabres would consider, what would you say? Would it be similar to what I brought up here with Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard, and a first, maybe Yamamoto, maybe something like that, just not touching Draisaitl or McDavid? Or am I maybe underselling Eichel a little bit? For the New Jersey side of things, does Gusev, Hischier, and a first make sense? Or, again, am I underselling Eichel a little bit? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know which one of these trade proposals you would like to explore a little bit more, because I'm going to try to make a video covering every single one of these. It's just putting them all into one video would have been a lot to talk about at once, so that's why I divided it like this. Let me know which one you want to see more first. Is it Vancouver's Elias Pettersson and Brock Besser, Matthews and Sandin from the Leafs? Talk to me in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. So Trolls 99, and bye.